What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2, the perfectly pocket-sized podcast for fans of this amazing hybrid console that has stolen our hearts and minds, the Switch 2. I am very excited because today we have a duo episode. That's right, it's me and my best buddy Clay, while David, the big man Jones, is absent. But that's okay because we have a plate full of content for you today. We're talking about Kirby Air Riders. Finally, we've gotten to this game. It's a controversial one. It's an acquired taste, so to speak. Before all that, I think it's important that you get to know us, we get to know you, the audience, and I want to give us a get to know you question. Now, to me, Kirby's all about infinitely ingesting things into the black hole that is his soul stomach. And for the get to know you question today, Clay, right now it's the beginning of the year. We're trying to get healthy. We're watching what we eat, working out. You look fantastic. For those of you who watch the video version, this man is like built like an American gladiator type person.
Right.
He's slim, he's in charge. It's like I'm checking him out as we're sitting here. But if I back in prime Clay days, when you were big Clay, how many maximum number of wings could you eat? First, let's decide bone in. You like bone in, right?
Yeah, I'm a bone-in guy for
Okay, so
sure.
a bone in. You at your max, what's your max capacity order of bone-in wings that you're eating yourself where you're going to be able to keep it down with no problem? How many wings can you do bone-in?
Yeah. So, well, to be fair, it does depend on where you go.
Sure, yeah, some
Different
wings are
places are,
humongous. It's
and
crazy.
some are teeny tiny. I try to steer clear of the teeny tiny places.
Yeah.
But like B-dubs, I can eat twice as many wings as I could normally at B-dubs because theirs are so small, at least where
Yeah.
I'm at. And so, a healthy, good, typical number of wings I would order would be about 15.
15.
If they're that's usually max. Like I usually don't go any higher than 15.
So like a Buffalo Wild Wing smaller 15?
So Buffalo Wild Wings, probably like 20 Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna lose some respect for you because I know that on a regular, like I haven't prepped for this at all. I'm just like normal type hungry. I could easily do 20 bone in like Buffalo Wild. Where again they're smaller, like depending on where you are. I could easily do 20. Now the big question is the follow up is probably more important. If I sat you down and I'm like, let's put some money on this, let's say I'm going to give you $100 to do twice that. Like, can you do 40? Can you do 40 bone in? Again, you haven't prepped, but you're going to try to do it. Like you're normal hungry, no prep. Can you down 40 bone in?
Probably not.
Probably not.
If I'm being honest, I don't know if I could do 40. Especially
It's
now
the
that
edge. It's right. Isn't that the razor's edge right there?
You're right
40.
though. Like Fat Clay from back in the day probably could. My stomach is obviously kind of shrunken down a little bit now, but yeah, with enough ranch and enough sauce, I could probably get close, but maybe I could maybe push 30. I don't know about 40. That's a lot of wings.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to try sometime just to
I
see.
well, so I've been around your location and seen like the healthy size wings. You showed me pictures as well. So like when you go that throws off the calculus, like the
Right.
size of the wing, how naturally good they are. I don't know if eating spicier stuff as you go like makes it more difficult to process the wings. Like if I just did some mild sauce instead of mango habanero, maybe I would do better because that's what I typically roll with is something right around there. So it's just interesting. I find it fascinating because I've accidentally overeaten quite a bit. Like just yesterday, it was a big Bears game, and I think I easily just had 15 boneless wings, and I had to stop myself from eating more. I was like, I could eat 5 more of these, but in just like normal. So it's just interesting. There is a person, classic Nintendo IP that is known for inhaling massive amounts of objects, food, enemies of his, and that's Kirby. And Kirby um, has come out with a pretty unique game. Kirby is one that the Kirby game cannot be defined at this point. You have 2D side scrolling Kirby games. You have stuff like the mini game centric games, which is great. And then you have this unique thing, Kirby Air Riders. So Kirby Air Riders is a fast paced racing vehicle action game developed by Sora Limited and Bandai Namco Studios and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch 2. It is a direct follow up to Kirby Air Ride, originally released on the GameCube. I did not play the game except for the test ride demo, but you have access to the full game. And I would like to hear your Kirby thoughts. What do you think? Kirby Air Riders, must buy, lukewarm? Why did we get a second racing game in the debut year of the Switch 2 right after Mario Kart World? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'll start off by saying I've never played the first Kirby Air Rider, so I went into
Neither have
this.
I. Mhm.
Yeah, went in completely cold. I wish I had. I think I would even enjoy this game even more had I had it as a kid. I wish we could have found someone to come on the show today who grew up playing that game. I think that would have brought a really cool perspective. But yes, so I've been playing this game, and I have mixed feelings on it, but overall, it's an enjoyable game. I will say this: I would say I'm like a moderate to like higher moderate, whatever you would call that, fan of Kirby games. So I think I like Kirby games more than the average person, but I would not call myself like a diehard Kirby person by any means. I've got a couple friends who have some younger kids that are like love Kirby and they know like every character's name and they know all these stats and different things of what happens when Kirby eats things into his stomach. It goes into some weird interdimensional thing or something. I don't know. They were trying to tell me about it one time. I got lost. But Kirby fans are wild, dude. If you ever get to talk to one, they know a lot of stuff and there's a lot out there. So check it out. But I love Kirby, even though it's like probably too easy. I grew up playing Kirby games, and so my favorite Game Boy game of all time is the original Kirby game for it. And so I'm a big fan, and so I wanted to support this game. I think when you and I and David were talking about do we cover this on the show or not, I was so conflicted because like I want to support this game because they worked so hard on it. HAL Laboratories did such a good job on this game, and it's clearly like a labor of love. And I want to support games that also, I don't know if you consider this a remake or if you consider this a sequel, but whatever it is, like I want other developers to remake or make sequels to games like this. I think they did such a good job of honoring the original game, but then elevating it and bringing it into the modern era and bringing back everything people loved and then some on top of that. And so every direct that we watched about this, it was just like, hey, here's that thing that you guys were really bummed that you thought maybe wasn't going to be in the game. Well, it's here, but then we also did this, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. They just kept adding things on top of it, and so I wanted to support it, but at the same time, I was with you where I like, we just got done with Mario Kart. It's like, do we really need another, kart racer this close to launch on the Switch 2? And so it was challenging, but all right. So back to your question. Overall, I had a good time playing this game. I won't say I had the most amazing time in the world, but I had a good time. What they have here is a really fun game with a lot of potential and a lot going for it. There's also some very heavy negatives, I think, and we can get into those. But overall, man, this game is beautiful. I don't know if you've got any footage pulled up or anything in front of you, Antonio, but man, this game is beautiful to look at. I'm still probably getting used to the visual fidelity that the Switch 2 can bring. And so this game, and like when we were talking about Metroid, like, man, just good looking, crisp games. I love how good these cartoony Nintendo games look, and like 4K or Ultra HD, whatever you want to call it. It's just it looks really nice, and so they've got that down. The music, like every Kirby game, is just very well done, high energy, happy. But they also do some like weirder things, some homages to old music, and so it's really good. Um, the user interface of this game, you might have looked at it and seen, wow, that looks exactly like Smash Bros. And yes, it does, but at the same time, just 10 out of 10 on user interface and sound effects and navigation and pop-ups and like all of that, man. It's a very polished experience. And so whether or not you like the actual gameplay, um and whether or not you like the actual how they race in this game, you cannot like deny how polished this game is outside of that. And so
Mm.
I just wanted to start with all that. I can go into gameplay stuff if you want, or we can go about it a different way. What are your thoughts?
My first thing was like its existence period, right? I think the big problem with the game was that it was another racing game coming out so close to Mario Kart World. However, when I played the test ride, and as I explained in my like preview thoughts, it's not the traditional racing game. This is a quirky game. It goes back to your point about wanting to support games that are, you want to support Nintendo when they get weird, when they get unique, right? Because that's the spice of life when we get these Nintendo games that are just kind of odd like that. So you automatically go, and the one button control like keeps you slowing down, and then holding it enough lets you boost. And the game is so fast paced, it's like pushing you forward all the time. You bounce off of the walls instead of like completely coming to a stop, or you can't miss a turn really. So it's like kind of like on rails a lot in the main racing mode. And what are your thoughts? Like, was it a big detractor for you that this is more quote unquote racing or racing like title? Or do you think it's its own unique thing that deserves to exist, that is worth it to dip into? Like, what do you think about all that?
All right. So I think this is a different experience than Mario Kart.
100%. It's
Um,
definitely
right.
different.
I think for two different reasons. One, just the main way that you race in this game is very different. You're not just holding down the accelerate button the entire time, and just when you hold down the button, you go forward. Maybe there's some drifting that gives you some boosts or whatever. It's even just at the simplest way you look at a kart racer, it's different. There's a lot more where you have to, when you're drifting, you're braking at the same time, and so you only want to do that when you're ready to make a sharp turn, and then you get a boost off of it, but you're slowing down at the same time, and so you don't want to drift forever because then you'll just like basically come to a complete stop. And so there's parts of that, so that premise in of itself is something to wrap your head around. And ultimately that's my biggest issue I have with this game, is that the learning curve is semi significant. I won't say it's like severe. Like you could hand someone this game and they could maybe figure it out, but they're just going to get destroyed and like by their buddies or whatever. And so
Yeah.
I feel like in order for someone to appreciate this game and enjoy it, you have to sit them down and then set them through 30-40 minutes of tutorials.
Yeah, you
Uh,
need to do the tutorials to understand what the hell the game is, like, what it's about. Like, it's step by step, concept by concept. You need that. Yeah, I
Yep.
think.
So if I have a bunch of friends over and I'm holding Mario Kart and I'm holding this game, like I'm gonna pick Mario Kart because it's just like I don't need to spend 30 minutes explaining to them how to play. I can just give them a controller, and even if they haven't even played Mario Kart before, hold down A, use the triggers. We'll talk to you through it as we go. And maybe you could do that in Kirby, but man, it's challenging, especially for younger kids. I'd be curious. I don't have kids. I'd be curious to see how easily kids pick this up. Obviously, kids are smart enough and they're addicted to anything video games usually, that you give them something they'll get it figured out. And so that I'm not worried about, but if you didn't have a long time with them, I would have a hard time like reaching for this game because it's just like it will take you some time to get used to it and get better at it. And some people like that. Some people like that, you know, as good as you are at Mario Kart the first time you play it and the 10th time you play it is probably pretty similar. Whereas with Kirby, you're gonna grow a lot really quick. And so some people want that, where like, I want to get better and like worked at learning how to play the game better. Mario Kart, you don't really need that. But with this game, like, I feel like you could take your time and really get to know it and hone your craft and become really good at it. And maybe that's rewarding for some people, and some people like that. But it's a high level of entry, in my opinion. Some people might disagree, but so I have difficulty with that.
You bring up such an amazing point about, like, you look at something like Smash, right? It's intended to be a party game, fairly straightforward. Like, hit the other person. Oh, look, they get more weightless as you go. Hit them and hit them hard. And that's the game. And you can approach it at that basic level, where this game, which is, you say, "Hey, is this a pick up and play like party game?" It's like, well, no, there's that barrier of like, how does this work? And it goes right in the face of, hey, we have simple controls, really one button, one, two buttons, and this is intended to be simple for the sake of, being able to be easily digestible. But then it's like, no, there's a big learning curve, which again, same thing in Smash. There's people who could do amazing like spike moves and like all sorts of things that you can get really technical. So it's just such an odd game. I don't think we've talked about a Nintendo game period for so long, about like just the conceptually, like technically, how conflicted of a thing this is. It's just so unique. It's good. I think the last part of this is like, is it fun to play? Because I see it as, because the game keeps you moving forward. I think a kid or someone not experienced, they're going to get through it. They may not win, you'd have to get really good to be first place all the time type thing at this very unique control scheme. But yes, you could put it in front of kids and they're going to get through it and play. It's very chaotic. It's very like it very hard to get good at. It's just it's its own thing. For me, I asked myself, what's the point, right, of playing the racing game? And I'm like, in Mario Kart, for me, my draw was two things. You play with buddies, online helps out a lot with that. And then the other half was, let me unlock the stuff. Like, I'm gonna get good, unlock, and then get 3 stars on, like, unlock the fastest first place on all courses, and then you unlock, like, reverse mode, you unlock like Golden Mario or what, all of that, like end game stuff. That's the end game for Mario Kart. We knew that it didn't change with the last game. This, because I didn't experience the full game, I was asking myself, would I want to keep coming back to this? What do you think about fun factor and replayability? Does the city, not the city trial, what's the single player mode? Is it city trial?
Yeah, so
City,
there's Top Ride, City Trial, and Stadium, and Free Run, and Road Trip, which is like the single player mode. There's so
Road
many.
Trip. That was the one. I'm like, maybe Road Trip would be the thing that would get me as a single player, you know. What do you think about fun factor and replayability here? Do you feel a reason to play?
Yep. Yeah, I think this game, I absolutely have fun playing this game. And I think it's for two reasons. One, variety. There's a ton to do. I can talk about that in a second. And then two, s- uh, there's so much stuff to unlock. There's so many things to grab and get. Um, I could see an argument for like maybe there's too much stuff. But overall, there's a lot to do, and there's a lot here, more so than I feel like with the most recent Mario Kart. You've got unlockable characters, you have unlockable machines, you have like power ups, different cosmetics. There's like different ways to customize your license plate with different stickers that you can unlock. And it's like, yeah, okay, so stickers, yeah, maybe that's stupid, but it's something. And maybe you want to get all the stickers. There's so much. And so that keeps me coming back because like I want to unlock. Obviously, I want to unlock all the characters. I want to unlock all of the Air Rider things, and so those two things alone, I think, keep me coming back. But then I appreciate the variety. I love that There's different game modes. I love how different some of them feel. Sometimes you get in and you just want to jump straight into an online match and just race some people. But on, to be honest with you, man, I think I had more fun playing the top ride than I did the main mode. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't know, maybe people would disagree with me, but like that one, I would probably be a little more prone to like throw a controller in my buddy's hands and be like, "Hey, let's just play this for a little bit." It's chaotic, but you still feel like you're in control, and I still felt like I was winning, and so I really had fun with that. The city trial was like crazy chaotic, but for some reason it was like super enjoyable at the same time. I remember playing it and my wife being like, "What do you like? What is the point of this? Like, what are you trying to do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like it's a little confusing if you're just watching, but you just run around and you grab a bunch of power ups and try to like get your vehicle, and then you can steal other people's cars, and like it's just it's crazy, but it's super fun, and I like that about it. This game has way better single player than Mario Kart has. I mean, if you know, at least just as far as talking through the road trip. And it's a great way to kind of jump in. If you're not looking to get into multiplayer right away, you can kind of play at your own pace. And then, but it also introduced you to air ride, top ride, city trial modes. All of them are kind of baked into it. And so it's a great way to kind of get your feet wet and start kind of figuring out how to do things. And so I'd say the fun factor is there for sure. It's just getting past that initial hurdle.
The I'm glad you saw it. Like you talked about variety, and I think that's huge. And I think when you had the extended looks through the not the treehouse, through the directs, and it was like, oh, we're gonna talk about this and get deeper and deeper about everything. We're throwing the kitchen sink at it here. That top ride like mode what also stuck out to me, and because I love that, like whenever there's racing games from that perspective where you go around the track like that isometric ish like thing, I just love the top down view, and I think it is very fun, so I'm glad that you had fun with that. To me, one of the funnest things that I did, and this is stupid, but the mini games, like Kirby and mini games are synonymous. Some of the best games that Kirby has had, some of the best aspects of those games were the mini games. And I love the one where you go fast and then you fly at the board and it's like there's just numbers and you're trying to get like higher points by like aiming. It's a simple thing, but I did it like I don't know, a handful of times, maybe like 5, 6 times, and I just craved it like more and more. I just want that mode. I just want to do that. What was your favorite like thing then? Would you say then Top Ride is a favorite? Any others like these things? There's so much to the game. What else like really stood out at you?
Yeah, so top down would probably be my choice. But there's other things. Um, I did the high jump. Was one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And you have to launch off this ramp, and then whoever gets the highest height becomes the winner. Like that was fun. Target flight is what you're talking about, dude. That game is outstanding. But I, I guess the only problem I had was I just as I was playing these, I was bummed that I didn't have friends to play them with, and so
Hmm.
I've yet to have a get together where I have some buddies over where I could even try out some of these things. But there's a ton of them. Skydive is another one where you're diving down through these rings, um, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. It's like they're real simple and they kind of remind me of like Mario Party mini games or whatever, but they're just fun, and you don't take it too serious because you're like a giant pink ball that eats people and like a giant penguin boss guy, and you're just like, you know what, we're just having fun. Like, don't overthink it. It's just good stupid fun, and I love it.
Did you walk away the characters of Kirby just the IP has now a extensive cast and you could be all of these people from DDD to Meta Knight to I forget a lot of the names like the hamster like I don't forget his name but like they're just such they're the design it's just you just want to like be around them and see them and you're going around the online lobby and you're just kind of moving around with your character and it's just it oozes Nintendo like funness. Did you have a favorite character? And because I had forgot really that you can get that deep with the customization, the the machines that you ride handle very differently. I knew that from even my short time with the trial demo stuff. Did you have a favorite character and or machine that you thought like, hey, this is my go-to, or it's really fun?
Yeah. So, Rick is the name of the hamster. Um,
I love that.
Good old Rick. I've loved Rick since Kirby's Dream Land 2 for the Game Boy. And so when I saw that he was going to be in this game, I was like, yes, like I'm going to play with him all the time because he's my favorite and he's super cute and I love him. And then I saw like a day or two, or like it was like a day or two after the game came out, that everybody was picking Rick, and there was like lobbies full of nothing but Ricks, which I love and I think is hilarious, but it also kind of bummed me out, and I was like, oh man, they like took my favorite character. And so I don't play with him as much, just because when everybody enjoys something, it sours it for me because I'm miserable like that, I guess. um and so I play a lot with Meta Knight. I play a lot with King DDD. Knuckle Joe is the other, probably my other
Yeah, he's
favorite.
got the cool hair. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a little Super Saiyan looking dude. And so they have like tier lists and stuff online that you can find for like best characters and stuff. It's pretty wild. Like I've barely scratched the surface. You could really get into this and like look at different machines are meant for different riders, or are better with different riders, I guess you should say. And so like there's a bunch of different loadout type things that you can do to try out different things. And dude, I haven't even unlocked everything. I keep trying to, and I've just barely scratched the surface. As far as the vehicles go, I've mostly stuck with the winged star. um
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
it's kind of like a bluish, it looks like a bird. It's like white and blue.
yeah.
um but I really like it. It doesn't have any like super weird uh attributes to it, as far as slow and ground bound. Oh, this, it flies in the air more, and so this one's
Nice.
all about getting air. And so I like just trying to get big air in this game, and so I'm constantly hitting ramps and stuff. So I think that's why I've kind of gravitated toward that one. There's some weirder ones that I haven't spent as much time with, that I'd like to eventually, but I'm definitely a big fan of the flying in this game. So it feels way better than Mario Kart flying, in my opinion. It's very different. So, or somewhat different.
I this game, I'm all over the place with it because it's like, do I want to play it? Should I invest in it? Like after you talk about it, it makes me crave it. Like I mean, I have FOMO to begin with. That's just known. I have a huge case of it. I can't get rid of it. But like you talking about it makes me want to play. I want this game to succeed, and I feel like something with an install base and a just built-in like fever of a fandom around Mario Kart, where it's going to sell for years, everyone's going to get that game for the system. They don't have that benefit with this game. This game is a more of a harder sell. It's like, okay, some people remember the original game, but it's a new thing, it's a unique thing, and I feel like if there was something like either like a Game Pass like service like Xbox, where it's like, oh, it's really easy to get into because if you have, Game Pass, you're into it already. Something like that where it had a big push. I feel like this is the type of game where if you did get a groundswell of people involved with it and a lot of like people talking about it and playing it, and it was in the zeitgeist more, I feel like it would like feed off of that and like continue to be like a thing that could become as popular as, a Mario Kart, maybe, at least give it a chance to be. Whereas I feel like this one is like more of a hard sell. I don't know. I know Switch 2 owners, and I don't know a whole lot of them that decided to dip in. So it's kind of like, I want the game to succeed. The game is feature complete, done. Sakurai was like, "I'm not. This isn't a live service thing. It's not going to get DLC. It is what it is." So again, it's not even trying to be a forever game in that sense. It's more of a like, here it is. It's like kind of a party thing. I don't know. I'm just all over the place with it. the way that I'm gonna dip in then, I believe, is if it would be on like a deep sale would be another way to get people in. But does Nintendo do that? No. So it's like I feel like the cards are kind of stacked up against this. So you to me and to like the audience, are you saying then this is a must buy? It's definitely worth the money. Advise you to jump in and get in on it, or like maybe only fans of Kirby. What's your verdict then?
Yeah, solid question and a lot of good points. I would say if you've got a lot that you're playing right now, or you've got a big game coming up that you're looking forward to, I would maybe hold off. I think the biggest disservice to this game was Metroid coming out shortly after it,
All
them
right.
releasing so close together. I don't know if it hurt it, but I would assume so. If I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably pick Metroid over this. But I could also make a big argument that this has way more replayability than Metroid does, and you can play with your buddies. Like there's a lot going on, and so it's hard to say. Kirby fans obviously need to pick this up. This is such a love song, swan song, whatever you want to call it, whatever song it is, to Kirby, and just celebrating the IP and the characters and the locales and the music. It's all there, and so it's a no brainer for Kirby fans. Nintendo enthusiasts, I would say keep it higher up on your list of things to maybe pick up. But um, at the end of the day, if you felt like Mario Kart scratched the itch that you needed with a racing game, and you're not really looking for anything else, then I would say you're going to be all right. You'll be well off without this. But I would argue there's a lot more content here. It's a better single player game than Mario Kart, and there's a lot more variety multiplayer wise. So it's like in those ways, it's technically better than Mario Kart, but I still think that Mario Kart is just overall a better game. And so yeah, it's a tough one to kind of put your thumb on, but I would say if you got a drought and there's nothing coming out anytime soon, and you're looking to pick up a new Nintendo game, check this out. Like there's a lot here, and if you have some time to spend with it and stick with it, and not just pop in for 5 to 10 minutes, if you have an hour and an evening, 2 or 3 times a week that you could put some hours into it and get better at it and unlock some things, I think you'd have a great time. You'd have a very typical Nintendo experience where you'd leave it eventually and be like, man, I had a really good time with that game. But if you only have like 2 hours a week to play games, I just don't know if this is the game for you. And if you have a lot of other games that you're playing through, this is probably going to get pushed to the bottom. But if you're waiting for the next Nintendo game and you're like, I have nothing to play, I would recommend checking this out.
I wanted to mention because I didn't get a chance to like praise the game about the visuals because I love the handheld HDR-ness, I guess. Like something about very bright highlights on the handheld screen in particular. Um, just really pop when it came to games like Mario Kart World. Like the fire just looked really good, the water. This game though, and I was playing it on my 4K like TV, the beauty of like the shimmer of like there's this one like water stage where there's like two walls of water on the sides of you, and it's moving so fast. There's so many particle effects, there's so much sheen and shine and bright color, like that Kirby is known for these like just colorful, bright, alive things, and they dial that baby all the way up. And there's so many like different tracks, and they all like look different, feel different. I loved them. Like there were 3 of them that were included in the test, drive, and it was like whether it was the very plain, like, green hills, you know, basic level, or the water one, or the cave, like, it just looked fantastic. As a final wrap-up thing, I just need to know, did you find a, um favorite track that you just loved, either the turns and all that of it, or the visual of it? Like, did you have a favorite that really stood out to you that you wanted to like keep going back to? I would say they all grew on me, but that water one especially just looks mind blowingly good. Any favorite?
Yeah, so like you said, there's a lot of really good looking levels. I'm looking through them real fast, trying to find the name of the one that I like the most here. Um, Mount Amber Falls. It's kind of
Mount
this
Amber Falls.
It's this like very fall looking map with
Yeah.
a bunch of leaves, orange and yellow leaves. It's just very pretty to look at. You're up on like bridges and things, and these big turns that have big mountainous fall offs on the sides of them. It's just I'm a big fan of the fall, and so that one automatically I was just like, oh, look at this thing. Like, there's crazy sci-fi levels, and then all of a sudden you have levels like this where it's just beautiful trees and leaves and scenery, and you're like, it has a little bit of everything. It's pretty wacky that way. I like that.
What a game. What a game. I feel like it's gonna stay in that bucket of like weird kind of niche, like a Pikmin or like whoops.
Quiet, Siri.
S- my watch is talking to me. Um, I feel like it's gonna be kind of niche like that, but I hope that it finds like life on the full like lifespan of the console, where people like, okay, oh, I just got my Switch too. Like, what should I get? And I do hope that it ends up in some of the top games, where it ends up in people's libraries, especially over time as the install base grows, as people upgrade to the Switch too. So excellent. Thank you very much for covering the game, Clay, for getting in there, for writing it out. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for another exciting episode of Switch Talk 2. We are going to be covering, we have a bunch of stuff actually coming up. We are going to get to Mario Tennis Fever, but I played a game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter's Revenge, I think it's called. No, oh, Splintered Fate. And it is an amazing co op game. I have to talk to the group about it. I'm actually going to encourage them to get it if they're like big like Turtles fans, or it's like a Hades like game where you play as the Ninja Turtles. Definitely rogue like throughout, but it's a fun like almost like beat 'em up type thing. Very addicting. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Thank you for joining us.